Hi guys, so today I'm going to be going through the main races on day one and day two of Royal Ascot, which starts this coming Tuesday. So hopefully I'll find you a couple of winners from the big races. And we'll start with the Queen Anne Stakes on Tuesday, the first race of the day. Palace Pier is 1-2 favourite, and he should win. He's the best horse in the race by a long way. He's already beaten lots of the rivals previously at Newbury, so I think he's obviously the he should win, and it's just by a matter of how many lengths, I think. But if you're looking for a bit of an each way bet in the race, I think Top Rank at 16-1 is a good each way bet. He came third behind Palace Pier last time by about 6 lengths, so distance like that. But I think on better ground, which he should get at Ascot, I think he could get a little bit closer to him, as I think all of his better form has come on good ground, good firm. So I do think Top Rank at 16-1 looks a bit of an each way price. He's only a 5-year-old. He hasn't had too much racing, so I think he could have an interesting chance at around 16-1. As you know, he should be in the placings, I would say. So I think he's quite an interesting horse if you want to have a forecast or an each way bet on a big price, because Palace Pier is too short really to be backing on a single. So I think Top Rank is my each way bet for the race. And obviously, as you know, Sabuska turns up or Pogo, I have a small each on them, as they're two of my favourite horses in training. So those, but Top Rank is my main each way chance, 16-1. He actually looks, I think, a fair price at that. The next is the King's Stand Stakes, and Batash is 6-4 favourite. But I'm going to take him on with Winter Power, who's around 4-1. Now, this filly, she seems super, super quick. Like, I backed in her last run last time, I had the horse in second, Atlas Bay, who I thought was going to pick her up, but she just kept going, Winter Power. She was quick away. She led the whole way. I was like, it's only a matter of time before she starts slowing down. She didn't. She just kept going. I was like, wow, that's seriously impressive. And I think she gets a fillies allowance, which is quite very handy in these 5-furlong sprints. So I do think she gets away quick. I think she'll be hard to pick back. And I think Batash, after his layoff, and he's now 7, I think you could say he's not going to be as good as what he was last year. So I think Winter Power, the youngster, could get ahead in front. I think she's around 4-1 right now. Might get 5-1. So I think it's a very fair each way bet, as I can't see a lot else getting into the race. And she's won her last 3. So I'm very keen on Winter Power. She's probably one of my favourite bets for the whole week, I'd say. But I think she can turn the form with Batash. St James Palace Stakes is after that. And it's quite an open-looking race, I'd say. Poetic Flair's 9-4 favourite. But I'm going to be backing Lucky Vega for Jessica Harrington, who's around 6-1 right now. He ran a super race in the 2000 Guineas at Newmarket at the start of the season, finishing a close third just behind Poetic Flair. But he didn't get the run of the race, I'd say, and he was his first run of the season, so I think he could come on a lot. The last day he finished 4th in the Irish 2000 Guineas, but the ground was horrendous and he hated it from the minute go. He somehow still managed to stay on and finish a relatively good 4th, I'd say. And now back on good ground at Ascot, I think this race could be ideal for him. Shane Foley, this could be his first Royal Ascot winner, which would be great for him. And I think at 6-1 is very good each way, but he seems a very consistent type, and he never really finished outside the money. So I do think back on better ground, I'm expecting a big run from Lucky Vega, who I think could reverse form with Poetic Flair, which would be which would be well deserved. So I think, although he doesn't have the sexiest of profiles as some of the others in the race, I do think he's consistent, he's battle hardened, you know what you're going to get. And at 6-1, I think it's a very fair each way bet. So I'd be interested in on day one doing Lucky Vega and Winter Power in a each way double. I think I can't see them finishing outside the money. So I think it could pay around a 30-1, that sort of price to double. So I think those two I'm very keen on those two. So I'd be very interested in that. Now we go to day 2 of Royal Ascot. So the Wednesday, the Duke of Cambridge has Lady Beaufort, 7-4 favourite. Now she has been super impressive in her 2 runs this season. She's finishing a very good second to Palace Pier. But I do think at 7-4 it's a fair price, to be fair, because she's beaten her main rival in Queen Power already at Newmarket this season. So I do think it's a very fair price. She should win. But I'm going to take on her just with a bit of a bigger price, double or bubble at 12-1. Now she's only had 4 runs this filly, but I do think it's quite it's a small training Chris Wall, which means you'll probably get a bigger price because he's not as big as Aidan O'Brien or for John Gosden, for example. But I think you have no idea where her limit lies, as she's just won her last 3 very easily. I think she seems a very progressive horse, and they've been very patient with her, which I think is a very positive thing with fillies and mares. So I do think Double Bubble at 12-1, quite an interesting run in the race. So I do expect Lady Beaufort to be very tough to beat if she turns up in anywhere near the same form as what she's shown this season. But with mares, they can dip in and out of form sometimes. And that Double Bubble, who's only had 4 career runs, could be a little underestimated in the market. And I think at 12-1, it's worth a little each way punt, as she could be anything. We still have no idea where her limit lies. So I'd be very interested in that. The last race I'm going to go through today is the Prince of Wales Stakes on the Wednesday. And that has Lord North 6-4 favourite and Love at 2-1. Now, guys, as you know, I was all over Love the whole of last season from the minute go, and she just kept on delivering. She seems, I think, she's my favourite horse in training at the minute. I just love her attitude. She seems top quality. The distance is just short of 1 mile to the Prince of Wales Stakes, and she should cope with it, no problem at all. It's just I think she's definitely a 1.5 mile horse, so she might find the trip a little bit short, and it seems perfect for Lord North. This race does. He did win very impressively last time in Maidan, but I do think he did burst a blood vessel, which is not a great thing for horses. It can put them off a little bit. Lord North has to have good ground. He can't have any softening ground, so the ground should be good for him. I think he could be a little bit too strong for Love on the day, but it's more of a heart over head. My heart is with Love, so I think Love. I think I'm going to stick with Love just because she just keeps winning, and when horses are like that, the top horses just find a way to win. And Lord North, he has seemed very impressive in a couple of runs, but he's also disappointed a few times, so he's a bit in and out. And I think Love has a more superstar status about her. And I think no matter what she does on Wednesday, she will come on bundles for it, and she's definitely, you back her regardless the race after. But I'm going to stick with Love because there's no reason to go against her. She hasn't let me down yet, so I do think Love has that little bit of class edge, I'd say, and she should receive a bit of weight allowance for the mare's allowance. So I do think Love for the Prince of Wales Stakes is my bet for the race, just purely because she's top dog really. So they're my selection for the first 2 days of Royal Ascot. Make sure to follow my channel, as I'll be going through days 3, 4 and 5 in the next couple of videos. Thanks for listening.